Uh, Good evening, everybody. Namo friends. Happy to have come here. Actually, this is not my first time to be at this center. I came here 2010, 13 years ago. Long time ago. How many of you were there at that time? Huh? Oh, really? That was the time I was living in Sri Lanka. So I was a lecturer at that time. So after that, I gave a talk here. I still can remember somehow there. And then I moved to Canada. So then after 13 years, I had no connections to the Mahavihara. But I came a couple of times, but there was not a formal talk that happened, short visits. So I'm not new to here. I can feel it. All right, so as you can see, the topic for today, you can see the topic for tonight's talk gonna be petas, bhutas, and sambhavesis. All right. So petas are called what you call departed ones, and bhutas are called as living beings, and sambhavesi they are called as being seeking a birth, between the passing away and a new birth. And I think this is a very important topic for today, because today is the new moon, and probably you have an important event going on with this day, right? What is it? Tell me, in your own culture. Huh? Hungry Goose Festival. How do you call it in Chinese? Is it called Ulampana? Ulampana. See, this is very related. So, I think it is very interesting to learn the true Dhamma, not the thoughts that some people just reflect upon, who is a ghost, who is a peta. Looking at the real text and what the Buddha says about it. So that is what we are going to do, and then trying to understand how they exist, how they survive, and what we can do for them, and then that kind of thing. And I think the purpose of that festival may be to even help out them, right, in your own way, in your cultural way. So I chose a sutta. You can see this is from Khuddaka Nikaya. You can see Khuddaka Pata, the first section of the Khuddaka Nikaya, the minor text. It's called section 7, KP7, Khuddaka Pata 7. We call it Tirokutta Sutta. Let's click on that. We will make a translation. We will make the Pali. Let's go to Pali. Because sometimes the English Buddhism can mar the true Pali. So we have to look at Pali a little bit more, but not to the level that we learn something very seriously. All right, this is the sutta. The sutta's name is Tirokutta. Tirokutta Sutta. Tiro means outside. What does Tiro mean? Outside. Kutta means wall, outside the wall. So we should be happy about it, not inside, outside the wall, right? Okay, see, outside the wall. Now, before this, let's talk about the categorization of the beings here. Who is a being, living being in Buddhism? What do you know about it? How do we understand that that there's a living being? We call someone a living being. Maybe an animal, maybe a human being, maybe a deva, maybe a Brahma. So how do you understand and how do you recognize that this is a being? What is your criterion? Dhamma criterion. Yeah, he has a life. So how do we understand the life from the text? How do we recognize? Definitely life, not yet dead, right? From the Dhamma way, How do we understand that? Yeah, definitely. When there is a combination of 5 things together, that is a being. Aggregates. Now there you go. Why you went to samsara? When there are 5 things together, there's a being. What are the 5 things? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vinyana. Rupa means our physicality. Like we all carry our own, I would say, form. We all are different from our faces, our shape, and all that. And then Vedana means feelings. In that particular physical body, there comes feelings. Then Sanya, perceptions. What is a perception? It can be a memory. Sanya means you make a note. Let's say you come to the talk today, you make a note. Talk was like this, things happened today. You make a note for tomorrow, maybe next time, right? And then at the same time, you are going back to the notes that you made. Making notes for the future, going back to trace back the notes you made. We call it perceptions. Are we doing that all the time? Yes, we do. I haven't been to this restaurant. Maybe this could be a different restaurant. I haven't had that experience, right? Maybe this is a different restaurant, different person. So back and forth negotiation of making notes, sanya. And then sankhara. Sankhara means volitions. What does it mean? Intentions. Volition and intention are 2 things, I think, in the Dhamma. They are 2 separate aspects. Intention means that you know what you do, but volition is chetana, that is sankappa, intention. But here, chetana means that you do something by knowing what you do. And the intention, they can be separate things. Then sankhara means being able to create formations. This mind which you are born with has the ability to create karmas. Definitely, because otherwise what you are carrying forward, what you have been carrying to this point of time, sankhara. Now you are creating sankhara, right? You know that I'm going to new moon puja, and then I'm going to do this and that. I'm making good karmas. At the end, I'm going to share, transfer, sankhara. Then vinyana. Vinyana means consciousness. Do we have one consciousness or we have multiple consciousnesses? 6 consciousness. Only 6. We call it sensory consciousnesses. Chakku, sota, gana, jivha, kaya, mana. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. But they are only for this life. Where is that consciousness that we've been carrying forward from past life? Where is it? It is not in those consciousness types. We call it bhavanga vinyana. Where is it? It is in the deepest level of all these consciousnesses. All these sensory consciousness types arise from that consciousness and then stay and pass away. But that consciousness, we call it bhavanga vinyana. Bhavanga means existential consciousness, the main consciousness. That is where you create other sensory consciousness now, right? What is the consciousness now? Let's say chakku vinyana. Eyes, I see you because of the contact of this tree. There is a contact. Then, because of this tree, then images then contact. When these three things together, they make eye consciousness. Sort of a knowledge in my eyes. I understand something through my eyes. Same thing applies to all the other consciousness types. So that means a being is someone who has 5 aggregates. You have to directly answer that, not say sansaric being, living being, and directly. Any person who still carry 5 aggregates, that is a living being. Then all animals fall into that. All humans, all Brahma, all Deva. Some Brahmas don't have a lot of senses, higher Brahmas. So this is what we call Bhuta category. Bhuta means this category, which I showed you here, see? This category, Bhutas. Bhutas means living beings who have not yet passed away. Okay? Do you find this word in other suttas? The suttas you chant every day? No. Do you chant sometimes? Do you? Have you come across this Pali term Bhuta in your chanting book? In any chanting? No, don't look at it now. Very simple questions. Yanidha bhutani samagatani bhummani vaya niva antalikke sabbeva bhuta subhana bhavantu atopi sakkacca. See, why not? Where's the problem? Not knowing some Pali. It's important. Basic one, don't need to go to a lot of suttas. Basic ones. Tasmahi bhuta. What are the bhutas there? They are devas. Because Bhante Ananda is reciting to people in the city of Vesali. But he was particularly focusing on 2 types of bhutas. Terrestrial deva and then aerial deva. Devas who are on the ground level and devas in the sky. So bhuta then refers to deva. But bhuta commonly refers to every being who has not passed away yet. Alright, so who are we? Who are we? Bhutas. Right? But there is another context where we understand bhutas as some troubling ghost. This is another popular Buddhist cultural notion. But it's not textually verified. You can call it like that. Like when you say when you have a good sleep, oh, I feel like I attain Nibbana, you know. You apply the meaning to that particular thing, right? Particular phenomenon, but it's not textually verified. So bhutas are then those beings who are still living. Do you find this term in any other very famous suttas too, other than Ratana Sutta? Can you go to Metta Sutta? Karaniya Metta Sutta? I think you chant every day, everywhere, temple, houses, non-stop. Do you find it? Bhuta va sambhavesi va sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta. Aren't you? There we find out that term. Bhuta va sambhavesi va. That means living beings and sambhavesi, the next category here. Sambhavesi means we are supposed to send metta to even the beings who are still looking for a birth. Not even the dead beings and living beings, but also for the beings who are still looking for a birth. Who are they? Who are they? We have another Pali word for them. When somebody pass away and then looking for another birth, that between, Gandhab. See, that's the Pali term, Gandhab. But will this last a longer time for a Gandhab to take effect? It's a very short time. It is said that when you pass away, you become a Gandhab. Gandhab is more genius than the actual living being. When the existential consciousness takes root in a body, you can say that being can be genius. But when the existential consciousness departs from your body, that short time, that Gandhabba is so genius. Because that's the time where Gandhabba has to find a perfect, appropriate body. Right? That is something that we learn from Abhidhamma. So, as you can see, Gandhabba means Sambhave, sea. So now there are 3 categories. Then petas. I think our focus has to work on petas today, not other 2 beings. Petas means, who are the petas? This is a word that we use for every being who passed away. So we were petas for other people who we know in our last life. But now we are beings. Anybody who passes away is called as peta. Departed. Right? But there are certain contextual, specific petas who we call as the ghost in that category. It's a general term for all the beings who passed away. But there's a certain specific context for certain ghosts that we're going to be studying under Tirokudda Sutta. Alright? If you have any question, please raise your hand. I'll let you ask your question before you forget. If you have, otherwise you wait until we go to the Q&A. Alright. Tiro kutte sutittanti sandhi singhatake sucha dwara baha sutit. Before that, let me read something interesting. You don't know these Pali terms, huh? This one. Nahi runnang va soko va yacha anya paridevana natang peta mattaya evan tittanti nyatayo. Translation. For neither tears nor grief or other lamentations are of any use to the departed. When somebody passes away, we cry. That's not going to work for them. Right? It is because we can't understand that moment of separation, but we cry. But it is okay for you because you have to heal from that wound when somebody passes away, which you really love, like. But for the person who passed away, that has nothing in terms of his or her condition. Interesting, see? For neither tears nor grief or other lamentations are of any use to the departed ones. This is in Pali, we call it Nahi runnang va sokang. Runna means crying, soko means grief. Anya paridevana, lamentation. People like try to, throw hand to the heart, chest. Then we have to find out what do these petas really need, and then to fulfill that particular need. Thereby they are going to be happy. I think that's a good thing to learn today, because you are starting that time. Alright, then we go to the front. See, outside the walls they stand and wait at the junctions and the crossroads. Returning to their former homes, they wait beside the doorpost. Interesting. Pali. Tiro kutte sutittanti sandhi singhatake sucha dwara baha sutittanti agantwana saka. I'm not going to read a lot of Pali. You might be unfamiliar with Pali a lot. Might be a general audience, so I will translate. That means there are certain type of beings who might come to where intersections, crossroads, return into their former houses. They wait beside doorposts. What does it mean? Does Buddhism accept the existence of petas, ghost? Yes, for sure. They accept. But this might not be a very frequent phenomenon. Right? That is the issue, other thing. We cannot say this is a normal thing for everybody who passes away. Because in Buddhism it says if you have a very good spiritual strong mind, you don't see those people. But if you are a weak person, if you are very vulnerable, you see everything. It's a problem to you. And you even hear what they talk. Yes. That's why we have to strengthen our 5 faculties. Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Because we have Chakku, Sota, Gana, Jiva, Kaya, Mana. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body. These are just normal faculties for everyone. But only humans can develop trust about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, energy, effort, mindfulness, concentration, and panya. The more you invest on those 5 faculties, the stronger you are. Non-human beings cannot approach you. Very strong person. But if not, you're going to be a very vulnerable person to non-humans. But they may come. They might come. It says they wait beside the door. Why they come? But when lavish food and drink of many kinds is set out, no one remembers them at all because of those beings' deeds. That means when you find good food, when you find very sumptuous meals, you might perhaps forget about your beloved ones. Actually, you might share your food with others. But not all the time. You might think that because your hunger may be stronger than thinking about other people. When you find something very hard to find, sometimes junk food, you want to eat up very fast, before other people come and eat. So the petas think that when their relatives, the living ones, now they are passed away already, when they have good food, sumptuous food, these people forget us. They have a belief, right? Actually, this can be a notion to even living beings. When you know someone who is very much into food, you think that this person will not share the food with me one day. Because you know the nature of that particular person, right? But there are beings who share, definitely. So petas think that petas, ghost, I would say, former relatives, when they are having a lot of sumptuous, very, very, I would say, lavish food, they might not share with us. They can't share with us too, right? Definitely, they are already dead. That is why those who have compassion give to their relatives food, drink at the right time. That's clean, delicious, suitable. That means when only the living beings have lots of compassion, karuna, then only they think about their departed ones. Right? That means if somebody is forgetting about living beings, the departed ones, that may be because they have not enough karuna. You can see here the word anukampaka. Anukampa means another word for empathy. Right? Empathy and compassion has a difference. Empathy means you put you in others' shoes, but you may not be able to help them, because you might not be affordable to help them out. But compassion means you empathize, at the same time you go and help out with whatever you have. So the greater version, larger version of empathy is compassion. But here I would say compassion. All right? So when you offer dana to the Mahasangha, when you offer pindapata, you may have some pindapata ceremonies here, right? In anyway, almost all centers. So you are thinking about your departed ones, because they are not able to get it. Actually, most people when they die, just before they die, they are not able to access to many food. Lots of food are in the fridge, refrigerator, but they cannot eat. Most people die without proper food. They suffer a lot. There's yogurt, there is something that they can, but they cannot eat. Physically, they are impaired to eat. Definitely, we have to give. But we cannot give food to the departed ones. They're already gone. What we can do? We choose the right people to offer. Thereby, we create good karmas. And then we think about, may all these good karmas be transferred to them. That is the way. Right? And then, this is very interesting. May this be for our relatives. May our relatives be happy. Those ghosts who have gathered there, the departed relatives who have come. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hotu nyatu. Who is reciting this? It's us. You transfer water. It's us. So when you are compassionate about your beings who passed away, you are going to do like this. May our departed ones take all these good karmas. For the lavish food and drink gratefully express appreciation, may our relatives live long, for those to whom we owe this gain. I think this is something you don't know. when you transfer good karmas to departed ones, they also make a wish for you. You ever heard this? I don't think so. What is the wish? Let's see the Pali. Chirang jivantu no nyati ye sanghetu labamase. May the relatives who gave us good karmas be happy, well and happy, live long. They wish us. You think that only we have to wish them. They wish us. This is not a one-way communication. Two-way. Right? Two-way thing. It's always two-way communication works well. Like you have a switch, you turn on here, then when you go, you turn off from there. Otherwise you have to come back here. Be in the darkness to go there, back again. Two-way. Every time Buddhist stuff is two-way. That means when the ghosts receive good karmas, they wish you back. May our relatives be well and happy. May they live long because they gave us. Interesting, right? And then, now this shows the problem with their life if they are ghosts. There is no farming there, no cow pasture can be found. They cannot make their living out there. Right? They cannot make money, they cannot do anything. They are simply surviving on your good karmas. It's like a child who goes to another country to study. This student cannot work also there. So you have to send money to that country all the time. For food, lodging, everything. Plus he or she cannot work there. They don't give a work permit. What would you do? Make more money here and then send money there. May you study well. May you become a graduate and come back here. Something. Maybe stay there. Then, likewise, there's no trading, no commerce in gold. The departed, the dead in that place live on what is given here, from here. Only the stuff that we can give. That means not only one ceremony is enough. Think about more opportunities. Every time you make dana, you give something to other people. Think about them. It is not even the Sangha. I always tell people, you can't find Sangha all the time. Some people only give things to Sangha. The Buddha said there are 3 fields of merits, punya kettas. What are they? He has given in Anguttara Nikaya. You know only Sangha. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho, so and so forth. Anuttaram punya kettang lokasati. Punya ketta. But in that particular sutta, Buddha says, your mother is a punya ketta. Your father is a punya ketta. Sangha is a punya ketta. A lot of people forget them and come to the temple, offer dana to the monk. They are the punya ketta. Which is not a good practice. Take care of your mother, make them happy. Take care of your father, make them happy. Take care of the monks, make them happy. Don't come to the temple as the straight line. I know there may be problems with sometimes some children have problems with their mother, father. Because we are different characters. We may not be matching with their attitudes, but it's okay. You can do your thing even you are far away from your house. Whatever the comforts that they need. Because you should do your responsibility. You may not be able to change them. Do your responsibility. You are okay then. Right? So, that means make in every moment an opportunity to give dana. Don't wait for dana. When there is a dana ceremony, pindapata, come and offer that dana. But when you can give something to a lay person, maybe a poor person, maybe someone who is in need, give that too. All are danas. You can share your knowledge, you can give your time. One of the very largest type of dana is listening to other people. Nowadays people don't listen to others, mostly. Even spouses. I don't want to hear you. Well, that's you just talk. So then what happens? Family problems arise. Because they are not on the same page. If you love your spouse, you have to listen to them. Otherwise you can't maintain that. Right? Not even them, even other people. Some people say, don't give me a solution. Just listen to me only. That is happiness, that person's happiness. When you listen mean, you giving your time to that person. Isn't it dana? Biggest dana. There may be a person who comes to temple, bring lot of dana, but never listen to their family people. Don't know what is dana. Dana is giving, whatever the giving. Your time, listening. Think about dana in a very larger, broader perspective. You be a very good person. Other than that, you be just a donor to the temple. And everybody gives offerings to religious places, even every religion, Christians, Islamic, Muslims, everybody gives. What makes you different from them? We are finding a lot of possibilities, exploring possibilities to be generous. That is our one way of being different than them, and also purifying our thoughts. Right? Anyways, let's continue. So they don't have anything. We have to give them. These are the last two, let me quote them. Now when you offer dana or anything to Mahasangha or others, that means these things will definitely go to them. That is how you're going to think about their life. Let me tell you a story. This is mentioned in the Petavattu. Okay? This is mentioned in the Petavattu. In this story, there is an Arahant. You know who is an Arahant? Who is an Arahant? Someone who ended the karmic life. Right? Arahant. So this Arahant's name is Pottapada. What's the name? Pottapada. One day at night, there was a ghost appearing in front of him. Right? And the ghost told him, Bhante, I am not a stranger to you. I am your brother who passed away a few months ago. Not even me, your mother, father also became ghosts. They are living with me. Interesting, huh? If the Arahant's father, mother, brother become ghost, what about us then? I feel some stark fear coming out of all of you. I mean, how is that possible? Yes, it's possible. Then he asked them, is an Arahant, how can I help you? He said, Bhante, we don't have clothes. We are naked in the Peta world. Can you make something for us to become dressed? He said, okay. And tomorrow, he went for Pindapata. At that time, Pindapata is not only for the food. Pindapata means everything. And then some devotees offered this Arahant monk some robes. So then he did not use them. He went up to another monks. He offered, thinking about them. May my mother, father, brother receive all these good karmas and become dressed in their Peta world. The same night, the next day night, again the brother Peta ghost appeared. And then said to him, thank you for the clothing, but now we have another problem. Another problem is we don't have water. Then the Arahant Pottapada looked away, said, here, there's a river over here. You see water over there. Why can't you go there and then have some water? He said, not possible. If we go and drink water, all the river become blood for them. If they take water, that water become bloody, real blood. So we can't drink. Then, please do something for us, otherwise we can't drink anything. He said, okay, I'll do something. Next day, he went on Pindapata. Somehow he got a water filter that you put in the 8 requisites, and then he offered that to another monks. And this was the second day night. Third day night also was a day Peta again appeared. Then he said, Bhante, thank you for the clothing and then the water thing. He said, now we have another problem. The other problem is that, third problem, we don't have a place to stay. We need houses. The Petas need housing. You have ever heard about it? Very strong, powerful Petas can bring the mansion to wherever they go. We call them Vimana Peta. V-I-M-N long A. Vimana Peta. That means these ghosts can bring their mansion wherever they go. Even humans can do that, right? You can't bring your house wherever you go. Anyways, this Peta said, we don't have a place to stay. We were just going here and there. Okay, then he talked to, Arahant Pottapada talked to a devotee he knows. He said, I need to make a shelter for some monks. Then he made a shelter. At that time, maybe a small kuti, not like a very fancy, sophisticated temples nowadays. And then he offered to some sangha. Then the same night, after offering, he again appeared. He said, thank you for the shelter, water, and clothing. We have one small issue once again. He said, when we are walking, the pebbles prick our feet, the soles of the feet. Can you do something for that? That means they need some foot wearings. He said, okay. Then he found out, the Bhante Arahant Pottapada found out some slippers. He then offered to other monks. Then that day onwards, Peta did not appear. Interesting. Now the idea here is that the nature of some Petas, way of working out, that means they are still kind of beings, but we call them departed ones. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share with you is that now there was one Brahmin who came up to the Buddha and then said, Bhante, I have a very, I would say, long-term question that I've been struggling with. I want to know, now a lot of people offer dana to the Buddha and other monks. Are these good karmas really gone to the people that they think? Transference. Then the Buddha said, nobody has asked this question. Everybody comes and offers dana and they go. They never questioned me about this. Have you ever questioned this from any monk? I don't think so. You say, oh, this should be going definitely. But this Brahmin, Vachagota, asked from the Buddha. He said, it depends on the place of the peta. It may not. First, he said, there are 3 places where your good karmas are not going to the departed ones at this time. Maybe later, but not at this time. First, if your departed one, Peta, reborn in another human life, then these good karmas do not go to that person. Why is it? He's already in a comfortable place. Right? Then how many people may be giving good karmas to us in our past lives? Huh? Maybe 70, 80, 90, 100, 500, 1,000 years. Because these practices have been coming to us for 2,000 years. But we are not able to get it maybe at this time because we are comfortable now. Right? Then the Buddha says, if you become a human again, you become a human after a big karma, large karma, very strong karma. So you are not getting those good karmas at that time. Maybe whenever you need, you will get it, but not in that human life. Second, when you become a deva, if your relative become a deva, at that point too, you are not getting, you are not able to transfer, and then that person, you can transfer, but that person cannot get good karma. Already in a higher level of happiness. They don't need your good karmas because they are already happy. Right? When somebody had a full meal, does that person eat again? I don't think so. Something like that. Third place is little terrible, miserable. If your relative became an animal, maybe a dog, cat, maybe a snake. Angry people can become snakes very fast. We see a lot of examples in the text. When you are angry, you die suddenly, you become a snake. It's a very normal phenomenon. Dosa attacks you. So, if you become an animal, till you finish that animal life, you can't get good karma. How come? Let's say you become a cat. Your relatives give good karma. How can you get it? You are an animal. These 3 places are places where you can give good karmas, but they cannot receive at the time, real time. Then he was little upset about it. Oh, really? This must be a very complicated way now to think about these good karmas. He said there's only one place that your transference of merits can be exactly at the same time, can be received by those petas. One type of petas only. Not all petas can receive all the good karmas. Only one type of it. We call them paradattha-upajivi. Paradatta upajivi. There are 4 types of petas. Nijjamatanhika, kuppipasa, Pansupisaja, Paradattupajivi. 4 types of petas. Only the Paradattupajivi petas can subsist, receive your good karmas. Interesting. Then he was really confused about this teaching. He said, Bhante, then what will happen to the good karmas that we giving? We all the time be giving. Don't worry. They are going to be stored up somewhere for that person. Whenever that person needs, that person can get it. For the humans and devas, when they exit from those places, when they are in a time of needing good karmas, they can definitely get benefited from those good karmas. Animal, now you think that all the animals are going to be animals forever? No. When they pass away, maybe one of these good karmas that we do to them will help them. It's like, so that means transference of merits is not going to work for somebody exactly all the time. But as responsible Buddhist beings, we are supposed to transfer good karma. So we don't know what's going on. Karma is such a complicated topic. But we are supposed to transfer good karma. That's how we do it. That is very interesting to think about. The way how karma works. Alright, so Sambhavesi means beings who are looking for a new birth. We understand them, they are Gandhabas. Alright, I don't want to add more things. Maybe I can go with your questions. Q&A.
Anyone would like to ask questions?
Bhante, you mentioned there are 4 types of petas, which you mentioned in Pali. What is the translation to that?
All right. I could translate contextually. I could translate literally. Some levels I can translate literally. Now the first one, Nijjamatannika, they are kind of petas who can be seen through the burnt trees, branch of a burnt tree. Now we find an example happen around the Jetavanarama area. Bhante Ananda asked 2 orphan kids, where is your mother? Then the 2 kids say, you Bhante, you cannot see our mother. Then they gave a burnt branch of a tree. From this one you can see those petas, their mother. Nijjamatanaka is that kind of peta. So there is no literal translation for that. Second, Kuppipasa means petas who are depending on the dirty things. Maybe people's, humans' dirty things. I don't want to mention them, right? You know what they are. They are eating those things. They are really terrible people. They can't even get any good karmas. I would say the most rough version of petas could be this Kuppipasas. And then third one, Pansupisaja. This is another extension of the first group. I said they can only be seen by looking at a burnt branch of a tree, maybe a flower. The last one is Paradattupajivi. This is a particular very special place, like a transit, like an airport transit. You don't stay there for long, maybe 24 hours. Either you will be overstaying, you'll be arrested, or you must take a flight and go to the other destination. So Paradattupajivi is a place where you are looking for immediate good karmas from your relatives in the past life. This can happen, right? Let's say you are super broke during your, maybe somebody robbed your money, your wallet, your purse on your flight. What would you do? You asking your, hey, put some money in deposit, otherwise I can't continue my journey. Something like that. So Paradattupajivi is the only place where you can give good karmas and they can receive good karmas real time at the same time. Manussa no, Deva no, animal kingdom no.
All right, thank you. And we have one sister here who would like to ask questions.
Bhante, I'm asking this question on behalf of my friend who couldn't make it here. My friend, she has a daughter, now I think about early 20s. When she was young, she has, we all Chinese call third eye. She can see things that beings that we can't see one. So this time her mother started to do chanting at home, but she played the tape lah. So then she chant Itipiso in the morning, pay homage to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, and then she play Metta Sutta and this Ratana Sutta. So her daughter told her one day that he said, please don't play for so long. I can feel that I can sense means that she doesn't feel good. She senses the energy, like like those beings might come to our house, inside our house. She's afraid of that. So then the mother tell her that like Metta Sutta and Karana Sutta is supposed to bless us, bless the house. So she wants to know the wisdom of Bhante on how to settle this thing between her and her daughter. Thank you.
Okay, first, third eye. I don't know whether that is the proper wording for that. Only the Shiva, the god Shiva, has third eye in the literature. Shiva has 3 eyes, 2 normal eyes, 1 eye. So if we open that eye, everything will be burnt. We should not open that eye. Shiva in Hinduism, right? One day the Cupid was really, really naughty, so he opened that eyes, looking at the Cupid, and he became burnt. Right? In Hinduism, it's a story. I would say maybe another being has gone inside her body, something like that. Maybe a trance. So I would say the beings that she said they would come in, they may be good beings, because she can feel that these beings are not the beings that the inner person likes to be surrounded with. So especially when you chant Ratana Sutta, what we know for the long term is that this is a very powerful blessing, because this was meant for the Bhutas, actually Devas, and then to ask the bad, I would say, non-humans to go away. And plus this has been chanted for many thousand years. And then the power of this sutta is in the universe. So I think she may be scared about that. That's why she may have said that. What we can do for this is that I think generally we can do like a transference of merits to the person who has gone inside of her in a friendlier way, asking in a friendly way to exit from this body. Let her be happy, let her live independently, let her find her own life, do not trouble her, do not disturb her. That kind of a plea. Maybe do a ceremony, like a dana ceremony, or maybe a parita. I don't like, she likes parita chanting. Maybe a dana ceremony, and then properly give good karmas to the being inside of that girl. And then definitely petas listen to that. Petas are going into other people's body because they are mad, they are angry about other beings. Maybe in their lineage, this particular being must not have been remembered well. So then what they do is they are very angry, they get into the weakest person's body in the family. That's what happens. So we should not do things like chasing out the peta. That might make some provocations to petas. And they can attack anywhere, they can go anywhere in the world in a moment of time. Any continents, that's what we see here. So better to do a ceremony, maybe a dana, offer dana, and then at the end do a bit of chanting, and then asking the mother to think fully that may all these good karmas we creating through dana help that particular being inside of her daughter's body to exit. Maybe she might not like to hear that, That's why maybe have a good conversation with the monks who are going there, informing them beforehand, asking them to think about also, asking her to think about too, and then to do, and then pour the water and then do it. That would be a very good way to do it. Yes.
Okay.
Bhante, when the Tiloka Kuda Sutta,
Tirokutta.
Tiloka Sutta, outside the wall, that means that those petas cannot enter our home, right? They stay outside, right?
Oh, well, they might not be. It depends. Okay, the other thing is, this is the general phenomenon. If you are a strong, spiritually strong person, they cannot do anything. That's where I started this talk. If you are a strong person, you can. Even, I would say, spirits or these petas cannot enter anybody's body if they are very strong. They're looking for the weakest person in the family, maybe in the household, and then maybe even an animal in the house. Thereby try to control the household and then everything. That is why we cannot say that they can come inside. They might. It depends on the household. Maybe the household is a place where people argue all the time, make a lot of angry stuff, right? That kind of a household is very vulnerable. So we cannot exactly say they are able to enter, but they can enter definitely. It depends on the spiritual power of these people inside the house.
And Bhante, another one is that this young girl, actually she's normal, she's like us, normal, okay, can work. It's just that sometimes she can see beings. She can just see, and I think she's afraid. And she's sensitive about it, but she's just normal. Do you think that she's possessed?
She possessed?
I mean, you say a peta or what enter her body?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but still can act normal, like nothing happened, like normal.
Yeah,
go to work, be friends, everybody.
Yeah, it's like the sociopaths, you know. Sociopaths, they wear like ties, well dressed, very professionally dressed. But when in time comes in, things go wrong. I mean, not about that daughter. You see, sociopaths, they are very professional, very polite. But in a moment of time, they go crazy. But they have sociopathy. So the petas, the level of influence from the petas vary from one being to the other being. Some petas take control of everything of that person. That person then at that point cannot work, do anything. Some petas can do to some extent. It depends. It is the power of that peta and then the strength of that particular person. Because not every being is very weak. They are weak differently. So then peta can attack, take control to some extent. Best thing is to do that particular thing. Do a spiritual thing and then transfer good karmas, asking in a very friendly way, please leave this body. Not to her face. Don't do that to her face. She will be very upset about it.
So we do this dana, the mother does this dana without her knowledge?
No.
Bring her along?
Bring her, but the wish has to be done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, secretly.
Okay.
Not secretly. You don't wish by being public, right? Do it in your own way, in your mind. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante.
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you, Bhante. Any more? Just one more, maybe? Just one more? Oh, okay. After I get Bhante
can I
take
talk
two
to
more?
Brother Chi? Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I have to talk to him for something. Yeah, please give the mic to him.
Who?
No, please pass the mic. I'm going to talk to him.
Oh, this. Oh, okay. Yeah, let him first and then one more questions. Is it okay?
Yeah, for this. Okay, go ahead, please.
I'll take two more questions. Bhante,
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay for any questions. But I have a flight to go in the morning.
Hi, Bhante. I just want to ask this. Petas, is it another kind of being? Let's say somebody passes away, that consciousnesses, the existential consciousness goes out of the body, and what? And enter another form, as in the peta form? Or is that existential consciousness itself refer to petas? And my second question is that how long will they be in that kind of form? Because since Bhante said that they cannot get any karma, good karma, like the tree form of petas, so what will happen? So they depend on us, but we cannot give to them. So this tree of those petas that cannot get any good karma, how will they escape from that kind of situation?
Yeah, multiple questions in one setting. Well, once we pass away, our existential consciousness, which you call as the Gandhabba, must find a body. Immediate, instant moment. In Theravada, we cannot see there is a moment of gap between the last moment and the first thought of the next life. There shouldn't be. So, the existential consciousness cannot survive without a body. It cannot survive. That consciousness must immediately find a body which has Rupa initially. The Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana come under the mental part. That arises, those arise with the establishment of that existence consciousness in that particular physicality. Alright, so there is no gap. But the Tibet Buddhism talks about a bardo, stage of bardo, which talk about that some beings suffer for some time or something, but we don't accept that because it's a kind of ritualistic way of looking at it. That's why in some countries we say 7-day dana, 3-month dana, 1 year. We don't have that kind of. We do it because then people don't forget about that particular activity. Actually, you have to do the dana same time that person pass away. Do you want to let him or her wait for your dana? The true way is, once he or she passed away, do the dana. Actually, you can't do it now because the monastic temple culture, you are not allowed. The monk will ask, are you crazy? Just passed away, you know. Just wait for the funeral activities. That doesn't matter to the peta. Peta just somebody passed away, then that person immediately needs good karmas. That's what this sutta says. So there's no gap. Second, your question is those 3 types of petas. Actually, they will suffer longer than the last one. The last one is the category where they can get the good karmas. If your relative become one of those 3 petas, they will suffer for long. But for some time, then they will exit depending on their other good karmas they may have done in the previous lives. Right? Yeah, make sense? Peta is a being, but we don't call them as bhutas. Because anybody who is in the samsara are beings. But they are not bhutas though. We call it petas. Bhutas are still living beings. Living beings as human, mostly human nature and all that. But you could say they are petas. Those who passed away, they are petas. But on the other hand, they are also bhutas too. But they are still living in the samsara. Yeah.
All right, we have another one here, Bhante.
Thank you very much, Bhante. My family is one of those who burn houses and money and clothes to the departed. And I thought I learned along the way they don't receive that. But after listening to your talk this evening, the act is still good, right? Burning houses, money and clothes for the departed.
That doesn't make any sense to burn houses and fake money, you know. I think what makes sense to us is that you need to create good karmas. Thereby you can transfer good karmas. Just burning, I'm not disrespecting any culture, I'm taking the side of the Buddhist aspect. It says, let's say different people do different things in cultures. Only by creating good karma, you can transfer to the dead person. Otherwise you are not. You burn something like a book, how come you create good karma by burning a book? You are wasting, you are actually harming your environment too by creating a lot of carbon monoxide, right? So the best way is to create good karmas by doing a good karma. But there are some cultural things. We don't need to insult them. We don't need to disrespect them, because people have been following this for long. But if you are becoming a very conscious Buddhist, at that point you decide, this is not really going to work for me. Yeah. Conscious Buddhist. Become a conscious Buddhist, then you will understand. The gentleman who brought me here, he's here. I asked, how long you've been going to the Banda Uttama Buddhist? I said, I'm very new. I'm a casual Buddhist. That makes me think of, full-time Buddhist, part-time Buddhist, casual Buddhist. Anyways, conscious Buddhist.
Bhante, just to continue, when we offer food with good intention to the departed, like for this month, they receive it. So when we are doing it, when the person has just passed away, it's actually with a good intention that he or she will receive it, because we do not know where the spirit is. So actually, if we are doing it, it's not just burning it as a culture, but actually our intention is good. Hopefully, the person will actually receive the mention that you say you could carry away somewhere.
I look at it a little differently. Now, why do we need monks? Why do we need them? Why can't we just offer food to the departed person's picture, photograph? Why is it? We need strong good karmas to send. Otherwise, all the good karmas will depend on how good you are. Actually, are we really good in terms of spiritual people? I don't think so. You may be not, but mostly you are with two ways of your life. Spirituality and then lots of comforts. That is why we pick somebody who is virtuous, who is committed to this path. They are very dedicated people, committed to the path. Thereby we can create good karmas and then we can transfer. Otherwise, why do you go to offer dana to the Sangha? You can just burn something in your household. You can just think, okay, I just put my food in front of the statues. I know you do that in your cultural ways. It's okay. I mean, that's a cultural thing, so we don't have to worry about it. But if you are really concerned about whether these good karmas are really transferred to them, whether they can receive, that's a different story. Then we have to look at these suttas. The suttas say you must create good karmas, otherwise just cooking food in your kitchen and then putting in front of a photograph will not going to be working that way. That is a cultural thing. It is good. I mean, at least you think about that person. But if you want to give good karmas, you can do. But the problem here is you can't be giving dana to Mahasangha all the time. Mahasangha is busy, not many Mahasangha. You can't go to temple. So at least that activity is also good, because you purify your mind while you're doing that. Right? Is that all?
All right. If it's any more, if it's not, then we will have to end the session by sharing the merits.
Yeah, we'll take one more minute.
Yeah.
We'll take one more minute and then
minute.
see if they have.
So Bhante, this is the people that departed one and.
No question, then you knew petas well, na? Next time when they come. You know them, who they are. Alright, so then let's transfer the good karmas now. May all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today by renewing 5 precepts and respecting Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and then listening to a Dhamma talk about the petas and bhutas, sambhavisis, and engaging in a Dhamma discussion be transferred to all the departed ones. Let me see. In loving memory of Ang Po Lin, Theo Tok Seng. In loving memory of Ki Ki Chai. Sorry for my mispronouncing, but I do it with my bottom of my heart. Ki Tek Seng, Teng Mek Tit, Ki Mek Tin, Cham Boon Sanong, Vi Kim Lien, Lim Kim Kiok, Lim Eng Siu, Lim Won Chu, T. Gyok Kwan, Madam Lo Seo Kim, who passed away, I think, a couple days ago, August 3rd, and Ko Sui Huat, Ronnie, Kelvin Ko Beng Chai. May all these good karmas be transferred to all the individuals which I said by names. Not only them, but also all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of you in your life or in your sansaric life. There are lots of people who became your teacher, mother, father. The Buddha says that the tears we shed at the moment of your mother's passing away, each mother's passing away in your sansara is more than the water in the ocean, 7 oceans. It means we have lots of mothers, billions, trillions of mothers, more than that. So may all these good karmas be transferred to all these living, all these departed ones in our life, the ones I just mentioned. May they be well and happy. If they were reborn in a place of pain, karma dugati, may they be able to release from those lives. May they be finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idamme ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Today we did as prescribed by the Tirokudda Sutta. Now the petas are doing the same wish for us. That's what we learn. Also, may all the good karmas be shared by all the Deva, Naga, Mahindika. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika be well and happy. May they, in particular, bless Tan Wah Tong, who is sick at the moment, and all the other beings, including committee members at this center, Banda Utama Buddhist Society, everybody who organized this event, everyone. Your members, your family members, even your granddaughters, grandsons, your mother, father, everybody in your family. May all you be protected and blessed by Deva, Naga, Mahindika. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika protect and bless you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambataṃ puñya sampadaṃ sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambataṃ puñya sampadaṃ sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambataṃ puñya sampadaṃ sabbe sattā anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ākāsattā bhummattā devā nāga mahindika puñyantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu loka sāsanaṃ. Ākāsattā bhummattā devā nāga Puñyantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu desanaṃ. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāga mahindika puñyantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu maṃ paranti. Chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu tvaṃ sadāti. In this indefinite sansaric journey, may we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mittas, noble friends, and not with the Papa Mittas. Because Kalyana Mittas do help us. They help us deepen our Dhamma path. They help us do more, I would say, ancillary things to protect and, I would say, increase, intensify our Dhamma path, Dhamma practice. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Here you call it aditthana. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yava nibbana pantaya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating in many ways today. Be helpful and supportive for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddha pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Wishing you a new moon day and have a good night. And take care.